Hello and welcome. My name is Casper Hansen, and today I'll be tying a fly that I call the spy fly. The history behind this is I wanted to make a quite discreet, quite invisible fly that can trick these difficult salmon and sea trout during the later part of the season in August, September. And yes, let's get going. I tie this on the Pro tubes. I could use maybe the gold, the silver, or if I want a little bit more color, the Chartreuse. But today I want to tie it in a quite discreet version. So I choose this bronze color, and this Flexitube I think is really good for this kind of fly, because I can get the color and I can get the size of the fly that I want quite easily. It's big when I start out, so I'm gonna cut it into the length that I want. And I cut it quite short here on the big part or the thick part of the tube. Maybe 1 centimeter here from the edge where it goes down to the small size. And then I just take my scissor and cut off some of the front here, because I don't need more than this. Especially now when we see these higher temperatures during the summer, I think a fly like this, small, discreet, can be very effective and fish very well. Some of our flies tend to be, also mine, maybe bigger and quite flashy, so I wanted something else, and I think this one does the job quite good. I start out with an olive thread, and I'm just gonna start it down here on the thin part and take it up on the thick part. I start out with a little butt section made of this mini Flatbraid in this greenish color. This is strong and simple to work with, so I like this. Tie it in here. Then I just wrap it 4 times. I just fold it back just to make it a little bit stronger, so it won't go anywhere. Then I tie in a little bit of ribbing just to hold on to the dubbing that I make the body with later on. I use some size small copper oval tinsel here. And then I'm gonna make the body. It's quite a simple fly actually, but it have a few steps into it that we'll get into. I use this olive, nasty, rusty dubbing, which I think works very well for this one. It gives it the flashy bit that I want. And I'm starting on the small size tubing and then gonna build it up here on the thicker size, and I just twist it in my fingers here just to make it a little bit stronger, and then I can build up a small, almost a kind of a ball with the dubbing here. Make sure that when you tie this fly you don't overdress it. Try to make it as discreet and small as possible. Now I just take my ribbing and I just give it 2 turns just to hold on. I just fold it back like this. I could tie a version that was unweighted, but I think sometimes I would like to have the ability to fish it a little bit deeper. And I use these raw weights. This one is the smallest, the extra small. And I think it's a perfect way to put on a little bit of weight on this fly. So I'm just gonna put on a little bit of super glue, and then I'm gonna press the raw weight onto the body here. And then when I make the other half of the fly, it will be hidden and you can't see it, but it has a little bit of weight inside. I just put on some super glue here on my thread just to finish this part. And then I take a little bit more of the super glue, and then I press the raw weight as hard as I can up against the dubbing body here. Then I just brush out the dubbing a little bit here. Not too hard, but just so that it will mix in nicely. Before I tie the second part of the fly, I cut off the front part here. I leave maybe 3-4 millimeters in front of the raw weight, and then I just take my lighter and then I burn the tubing a little bit. Like that. Now I'm gonna make the front part of the fly, and this fly doesn't have a wing. It's built up with a few hackles, and that's all. Again, to make it very translucent, very discreet, and very light in its looks. Just kind of cut off the longest fibers here. Yeah. The first hackle is this is a heron hackle. It could be one of the whiting spay hackles. Could be the hen or the cock capes. But if you want something else, you can use heron. You can use maybe a pheasant rump. Doesn't matter. I just want something with long fibers. I think the heron is very nice also, very discreet. And I've picked a feather here with maybe 4 centimeter fibers. I pull them back and then I tie them in underneath the tube. Just fold back to make sure it stays. Then I cut off this part. Then I take my heron hackle here and I fold the fibers back, and then I wrap it 2 times, not more than 2 times. Cut off the excess here. And then just tie it in. As you can see, you get this very nice, very open, very lightly dressed fly. I still have an extra hackle that I want to put in the front. If I build up a wing, I always want the drop form, and if I make a hackle fly like this one, I can't build up a drop form the same way, but I can still build up a wide front and then make the hackle fibers from the heron work with this wide front that makes a little bit of turbulence behind the fly. I pick these Whiting Coq de Lion soft hackles. I think these are very, very nice. One of these feathers I use in a, I think it's called golden olive. And again, I want it to be very light, so I take off all the fluffy part of the feather here first. And then I remove all the fibers on one side so that when I hackle it, I get this very light, translucent look where the fibers spread out quite a lot on the fly. I make a little V like this, if you can see it, and then I tie it in here and fold it back. And then right in front of the heron, I wrap this 3 times. Cut away here. Then I just use the brush just to divide the fibers. Like this. The last part of the fly is I want a few jungle cock feathers, but sometimes jungle cock can be quite difficult to find, and I think this Pro jungle cock is a really good alternative. These thin synthetic fibers or feathers are really, really nice to use. They have a really good look to them. They have the right shine. And I use these in the smallest size, the 3X small, for this little fly. I tie it in, one on each side. When I use my thumbnail here, it's just to press down so that I can make a nice looking head on the fly. And I just form the head with this olive thread. Finish off with a small bib finish. And I now have this very, very lightly dressed fly for summer and autumn fishing. When I fish it, I often fish it with a single hook. I'm just going to show you how that looks. And by the way, I often get the questions, why do I have these pink or orange tubes on my needle? Actually, I can show you now because this is a fly that shows it very well. I have tied these hackles in. I don't want to press them down. So when I want the fly out of the vise, I just press on the pink part here, and I don't touch the hackles, and I loosen the fly from the needle, and the fly looks like I want it to. When I fish it normally with a single hook because, again, for the light look and for the discreet look, I don't think a triple hook is the right way for this one. I want it to be light, and I use maybe the core tube fly single hook or the Ahrex tube fly single hook. Both works very well, and I just put on the hook here because I have the big or the wide tube on the back. I can fix the hook in it like that, and I could also fish it with a free hanging hook, but this one I actually like to fish it this way. So this is the spy fly, and why is it called the spy? Often it's because when you're spying someone, you want to be as discreet as possible and not being seen. And this is the idea behind this fly as well.